And all right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Friday Mastermind. By the way, I just changed mics. So what you heard just a second ago was with the Apple mic, and what you heard just now is this mic. So just as a reminder, if you're going to create content on social media, what mic you use matters.
And
Every
who you
Friday,
use matters.
what's
Hello.
that?
And
And
What's
who
who
that?
you use
matters.
matters.
Yeah.
Boom.
Shameless plug.
Roger that. Uh, Before I bring in our special guest and I frame today's call, Mr. Bookspan, anything you want to say to frame the call or just kick things off?
Well, I think there's a few things going on, right? We're getting closer to halftime of 2025, and I really feel like there's an opportunity for people to be laser focused on the activities that you need to do between now and the end of the year to reach your goals. Your goals are still achievable. I think a lot of you have already said, rates haven't come down. I'm not going to hit those goals. So I just want to start off with some encouragement and just say how super excited I am to have a guest from Philadelphia today. But before that, let's reintroduce none other than Plug and Play SM's own Deborah Bird.
Hey, hey. I'm excited for this call and to finally have Sue on. It's been too long. It's nice to have another female on, and Sue is a ball of energy, guys. It's like a shot of tequila first thing in the morning. So y'all get ready.
Well, thanks.
Hey,
I'm super excited to be here.
so you know what I want to do? I'm going to say a framing statement, and I do have some intro for Sue that I want to share, but I'm going to have you go first, Deborah, because you know Sue. And guys, this is the first time this amazing mortgage leader has been on our YouTube channel, and I know it's not going to be the last time. So we're both going to do a Sue Meitner introduction, but I do want to just pile on what Todd said that it's almost halftime. So halftime is officially the end of the month. Next Friday, by the way, happens to be my birthday, June 13th. But it's also like, think of it as like the last couple minutes before the first half. And games in won and lost are won and lost in every sport, and mortgage is a sport in the second half of the game. So like, what adjustments are we going to make? What did we learn this first half? And how are we going to win the year? And what adjustments we're going to make? So we're going to do a little bit of that conversation today. Also, Kristen Messerly and I are writing a report that's going to come out somewhere between, it's going to take us at least a week or two, but by halftime, the last week in June, maybe the 1st of July, we're going to roll out what we call the State of the Industry Halftime Report. I've already done 12 interviews. So everybody that watches our YouTube channel, there's a halftime 2025 halftime playlist. If you want to check those out, Shayla Gifford's part of it. Jeremy Forcier is part of it. I've got a lot of C-suite executives that I've interviewed. There's a good chance this conversation today will make that report. So check that out. So Deborah, why don't you take the first run at Sue and why loan officers should not multitask during this call and tune into Sue?
Well, Sue is the real deal. Like, she shoots it straight. I followed her for years, and I met her for the first time at a Cindy Ertman event, and I knew who she was right away. Like, her social media and her marketing presence, which is very authentic. Okay, she is super professional. She's an advisor. She has a team. She's a great producer, but she also knows how to be creative and to be fun and to be human while she's online. So I felt like, even though we had never met personally until Cindy's event, felt like I already knew her. And that's when, that's like the biggest compliment with marketing, is when you hear people say, gosh, I feel like I already know you. And that's how you can scale trust and your network if you're committed to educating people online. So I just appreciate that, you are who you are, you shoot it straight, you're good with being silly and fun, but also being serious and holding people accountable. So I'm excited for this call because it's going to be straight truth talk.
Love that. Love that.
Authentic is a great word.
Here's a couple of my thoughts. And I just put a post in or a comment, and I'm currently working on a book. I'm calling it Know Your Code, Live Your Code, Share Your Code. And I've got a code. By the way, everybody on this call, you have a code. You have, most of it hopefully is really good code. You could have some broken things in your code, and then you could not be living your code. But to me, the people that I love to hang around with, first and foremost, by the way, there's two criteria. One is people that are obsessed with impact. I love people that are obsessed with impact. And Sue is one of those people. Now, there are people that are obsessed with impact that don't meet this next box that I'm going to check. I love people that are like sun people, like be the sun. And there's words that you really can't describe people, but they're just people that they make every day brighter. Every time you're around them, things are brighter. They treat everybody, whether it's people that work for them, whether it's people that they're selling to. By the way, I sold for Sue, and that's how we met. Is I was when she was the CEO of a mortgage company, I was selling to her, and she was super kind, super humble, super open-minded. You know, when she merged with Success Mortgage, she was our champion. Like we wouldn't have the relationship we have without Sue. I wouldn't have the friendship I have with Owen Lee without Sue. But guys, she is a Sun person at the highest level. Like you're just gonna love this woman. So Sue Meitner, welcome to the
I don't
call.
even
This is the
know
first
how
one.
I can like do great in the next hour with all that greatness.
Well, real quick, this is the first quarter. We're like, what are we going to talk about? Who is it? Real quick, tell everybody your role and what you're currently doing, and then we'll get into the topic today.
So I am Sue Meitner. I am a division manager at Success Mortgage Partners, and I run a team myself, but I also run a division. We do approximately $300 million a year, and we have about 15 loan officers that I work with every day, and we run in the division. That's what we do. That's what I do.
Love it, love it. And she also coaches with Cindy Ertman. I got the pleasure of spending time when I spoke at Cindy's Mastermind Summit a couple weeks ago. So it's so good to see you again. I'm so glad we're doing this. You know, you picked the headline. I said, hey, I want to have you on the show. I know you're going to be magical. Like, what should we talk about? And you said winning in any market. And so, why did you pick that headline, and what does that mean to you?
Well, I put it through chat. No, I'm kidding. I think winning in any market is super important because I think we've all looked through rose-colored glasses over the last 3 years, and we're like, oh, the rates are going to be less. The rates are going to be less. The rates are going to be less. I love that the rates are just consistent right now, and I'll say they're not consistent because we're not seeing this. We're just seeing this. And I think that we need to not look through rose-colored glasses. Think you need to deal in the market that you're in every single day, wake up every single day to go hard every single day. And that's what we do. It's just like a football game or just like football practice. Every day we have to practice, and we need to practice with our people. We need to practice with our clients. We need to practice with our customers. And you need to have a good mindset for that. And if you have a good mindset for that, you can win in any market. You might have to pivot. You might have to change things up. You might have to see what's working and what's not working, but you have to be able to win in any market if you want to be in the mortgage business today. And if you're a winner, you're going to do it.
Yeah, no, check.
Did
Plus
that, did
one
that
to
describe it?
yeah, plus one to that. So let's do this because I am also writing this halftime report right now, and I'd love to hear how you answer this. Then Todd and Deborah jump in on this. But there's a lot of noise, little things that are happening, and obviously interest rates are a thing. But then there's some big things like the Rocket acquisition of Redfin and Cooper. Like that's a big thing. That's a signal. There are other big things. When you think of the first half of this year and decisions that you've made or things that you're doing to win the second half of the year, what are some of the big things? Like if you were a coach and this is your team, you
Yeah.
would come in and say, hey, okay, guys, first half, this happened, this didn't happen. And you're setting up, like, what are we going to do to win the second half? What are some of the things that you think are signal? They're like big things.
So I've always listened to the noise over the last couple of years, and this year I did something different. I'm not listening to the noise. I'm not listening to the NAR. I'm not listening to who's buying who. I'm not listening. I'm just dealing with the present. And by dealing with the present, I'm able to look to the future. So I do look at the past of what worked or what didn't work within our business, but it's only within our business. It's not outside our business. And I think that by doing that, we have been able to do better even than we were doing last year. we just had one of our biggest months. We did 30 million last month as a division, and my team itself did 7.4 million, which was one of the best months I've had in a long time. But by keeping with that mindset and doing many, many, many things within our industry, and that is a lot of different activities during the course of a day, is what's working.
So I'm curious, and I would love it. No one needs to tell what your production was. I know Daniel saw, he announced on social media that literally had like a record-breaking month as well. And just let us know in chat how good last month or this most recent month was for you. I would just love a little pulse check. Was it down, flat, or up? And guys, we've got we got over 70 people live on the call. I know that a lot of you are going to watch this in YouTube. So if you answer this question, not only are you going to help us do a better job of delivering a podcast, you're going to help each other. Like, let's mastermind together. Like, if we're all in a room, everybody go around, and Dean just said flat to up, up to flat. Is that kind of in between? Is that up or is that flat? Up, average,
Average.
up a little. Keep going, guys. Like, put yourselves up. My team, boom. Thank you, Todd. Thank you for being more detailed. Flat. By the way, there's no judgment. Like, we're not gonna beat anybody up who's up, down, or flat. Well, if you're up, we want to hear what you're doing to be up. Okay. But hey, guys, before I ask the next question, I got a question I know I got to ask, but Deborah, anything you want to say? Todd, anything you want to say?
Well, I'm also curious for those who may be down or up, I guess. Do you know which activities that you're consistently doing? And shameless plug to Win by Noon. This is what I love about Win by Noon. What's different is they don't just track the results. And I think a lot of times we can get so fixated on results, and then we have no idea, well, what were the daily activities or inactivities that I consistently did just in May that will yield me the results that I'll likely get either this month or next month. So it's a great idea to either go to Win by Noon and purchase a planner, but also keep track of what are the things that you're doing daily, because that's what's going to dictate your success.
Goals and tracking is the key to success. If you don't have anything written down, you have no place to go. That's why Win by Noon is so important.
Well, I
Okay.
just love the fact that you're staying present and not focusing on the drama of the news, right? I feel like, we've had so many people in here, so many great thought leaders out there. Dave's friends with Darren Hardy. Darren's always said, right, you just have to turn off the news. And I do think we tend to get caught up in our own drama. And so I love the fact that you said that by being focused on the present, ignoring everything else, that you can actually be looking towards the future. And I think that that's, really one of the keys. And so what's your best strategy for making sure you stay on track and then blocking out that noise so you don't get pulled into different directions during the day?
Running with your hair on fire during the day. No, really having I come into the office, I have a planner, and I just have it scheduled out. And I follow everything in 1 hour increments with a 15-minute flex time. That's what works for me. You have to find what works for you. And every single day, I just go through it. I also make sure that I'm making my telephone calls. I make sure that I plan lunch and learns, plan different events. I have a quarterly event for the realtors every single quarter. Just that's bringing value to them, making sure that I only spend so much time on social media. Everything is scheduled out for me during the course of my day. When it's not scheduled out, I'll give you an example of yesterday. My loan partner was not here yesterday. So I did 2 people's work, and I wasn't scheduling everything on the hour. I was scheduling things on the hour and in the 15-minute increments. I worked from 8 o'clock last night to 9:30 last night. I was totally exhausted. I was not kind to myself, because we have to be kind to ourselves at the same time. And it just didn't work for me. And I realized how important that schedule and routine is, because I know what I'm doing every single day. Now, I had it on the schedule. I had it here, but it was just on fire, and it didn't work for me. and I wasn't at my highest and best. You need to be at your highest and best when you're focused in. So today I came in and I'm only following what's on my schedule today in 1 hour increments.
Love, love, love that. By the way, I'm going to share another piece of my code. And I recently, not recently, like this Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday in Nashville. I flew to Nashville and spoke at Churchill's all company meeting. Once a month, they do an all company meeting, and they asked me to come and speak at it. And they wanted me to talk about the code. And I picked out of, I think I've got 48 pieces of my code. I picked, I don't know, like not a dozen, but probably 8 things that I thought were on point to share right now in this market. And one of the pieces of code, I just shared it in chat, win by 7 so you can win by noon. And even before I started Mortgage Coach, like there were two things. The way I shared this win by noon principle is I said to get to the point where I started Mortgage Coach, my strategy was win by noon. Of course, I didn't call it win by noon. I think I got it from Peter Drucker's book, the concept of, winning in the middle of the day. I think Ben Franklin might have been the first person to document the principles of winning by noon. And then Todd has packaged it into a planner and created a lifestyle brand around winning by noon. But I just want to make sure, like, as we go into halftime and we review, like, hey, how do we execute and how are we going to win? I can promise you that winning by noon and the execution of that, like, are you doing it 2 days a week? You doing it 3 days a week? You doing it 5 days a week? Are you not doing it at all? Like 5 days a week, if you win by noon, you're going to win the year. Like what are those things? And by the way, and in order to win by noon, you pretty much got to win your morning. Like, what are your personal things? So I love that. By the way, Sue just, I could tell already where this is going. Todd is wearing a Philly, like
Ugh.
Philly shirt. Like in case you guys didn't know, Philly won the Super Bowl. And
In case
then,
you
and
didn't
then
know.
in case you didn't know, and then in case you didn't know, Ben Franklin is from Philly. Which,
Oh
by the
my
way,
God.
anybody who, I'd put that on a bucket list of one, you got to go to Philly and you got to walk around that part of town where Ben Franklin is. Like it's a life, like you have not lived in America if you've not walked around and spent a half a day or a day down there. And then you have not lived a full life if you've not had a chili cheesesteak sandwich at least 3 of the best places to have one in Philadelphia. So, all
Well,
right.
Had,
Madden 26 came out this
Alessandra.
week.
What's that?
I was just gonna say Madden 26 came out this week, and so all week they have Geno's Steaks is actually called um, Saquon Steaks, or no, it's got a new name now. I have to think about what it is, but it's been
Yeah,
renamed
but
for the first.
Geno's, I'm a Pats guy, like, no, thank you.
We can still be friends. It's okay.
Yeah.
My family's
Yeah.
a Geno's family, so
Are you guys a
uh,
Geno's family? I did not
we
know
are.
that.
We are.
Yeah.
We
Of
are.
course, neither one of those places are, necessarily the top Philly
Really,
cheesesteak in town.
D'Alessandro's is my favorite. It's right outside Philadelphia, but
Okay.
it's
So
really in
no,
Philly. It's actually really in Philly, but not
so
in the center.
D'Alessandro's.
Yes, it's in
Okay.
Roxborough.
Put that in chat just so
I
everybody
don't know how to
knows.
spell D'Alessandro's.
Okay. All right. Well, someone on our team will put that link just so you guys have that on the bucket list. All right. So, by the way, any other questions, Todd, before I ask the next question here?
No. My question was great. Oh yeah, it's steak
Okay.
wands. That's what they call it this week. Steak wands. So
Okay. Okay, cool. Hey, so Sue, the fact that you had this, call it record-breaking period and you're winning in a difficult market, what are 1 or 2, call it high-level strategies that you feel were really led to that success? And one more qualifier, they need to be things that you're going to keep doing in the second half. So my assumption is that if you're doing something that's going to win, you're going to keep doing it in the second half. You might even double down on it. But what are like, give us more than 1, no more than 3 things that you're doing that you think have led to this success.
So I think that if you're not capitalizing on, if you're getting purchase business and you're not capitalizing on doing a great job and telling the listing agents you're doing a great job and asking for their business, you're not winning. You have to go after those listing agents. It's super important right now. Lots of loan officers are not doing a good job. So when you do a great job and they're on the listing side, you have to capitalize on that. I can't tell you the amount of agents I'm getting from being on the listing side and having that great experience. On realtors who are having a great experience for you, you have to ask them who they know who might not be having a great experience with their originator, and could they give you an introduction? They are also great techniques that I've been using this year and have been able to culture and have great new relationships with new realtors because of that. And number 3 is, I have 3 and 4. I'll give 3 and 4 because there's a tie. 3 is having events. You have to have events where you're going to be face to face with people. You have to develop the relationship. You have to bring value. So I have either lunch and learns or the quarterly event, which I talked about. It doesn't make a difference if you get 10 people to come or if you get 50 people to come. Butts in the seats are important, and you need to get them out on social media. And I will continue to do that. And the other tie is I have a gifting program that I gift my top 20 agents a little gift every single month, or at least every other month. So I'm touching them and I'm top of mind. It is something that it's either like an umbrella that has our logo on it, and it has some sort of April showers bring May buyers or something silly like that. For Halloween, I give little flashlights, and they have my branding on it, but it's to help. And if they have 5 kids, I send 5 of them. If they have 3 kids, I send 3 of them. It's just something that I'm giving to them for kids and for others. And then I have these poker chips, and I like to say you can get lucky with me by getting your mortgage with me. And it's always a topic, and it has my picture on it. And they go in all of the gifting things, but I got the gifting program from a friend of mine who's no longer with us, John Ruling. He has a book, Giftology, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Well, let's focus on the first 3 that you gave, and then if we have time, we can go into that. But I really feel the 3 strategies to win just intuitively that probably most people, like even top producers that are winning and kicking ass, could do better in, if not all 3 of those things. So I just think there's room for improvement. So let's do this. Let's, until we feel like we've just unpacked this,
Right.
let's almost like for each one of those come up with 3 things that you're doing to do that. We might even get tactical and ask for scripts. There may be some social media posts. Remember, guys, this is a mastermind. We got over 70 of you on this call live, and who knows how many are watching it live on Facebook. If you have questions for Sue, put those in chat. Questions for any of us. We'll answer those questions. So let's start with
Listing agents.
listing agent strategy focus. Like, put a little meat on the bones. What are you
Yeah, so
doing to do that?
the first thing is I send a video when the offer's made to the listing agent. Hi, this is Sue Meitner. We've done one deal. We've done no deals before. I just wanted to let you know that we have a mutual client with Bernadette, and she's an amazing agent. We close deals every time on time. We use local appraisers. And I just wanted to let you know that I have specific strategies to make sure that you're in the loop. We have a transaction person who's going to contact you every single week and give you an update on the file. And if I could give you my VIP hotline so you can reach out to me at any given point in time, that's in a video. And I send it to them in a video. So the first thing is they see my face, they know that I'm authentic, they know that I'm real, they know that I'm local. Even if I'm not local, I say we have a local presence, and because I do business all over the United States. And I give them, I'm confident. And that's part of the mindset. I give them confidence. If they hear confidence in me, I'm instilling confidence. I also say, if a young couple is what the seller wants, or if the seller is downsizing, I give them a little meat for the buyer so that they feel that there's a connection. So I figure out what that connection could be and I tell them what the connection is. And then they say to me, usually say, I've never had a loan officer send me a video. That was amazing. Can you tell my loan officer to do that? And I say, how about if I'm just your loan officer? So I already am asking for the business at the first time that I'm having a transaction and an interaction with them. Once the
And
deal is
Sue, are you
accepted,
doing that live? Like it's not an evergreen video. It's like
no, it's
this
live.
is custom. Okay.
Custom. Hi,
Yeah.
Bob. This is Sue Meitner, and I say names, and I always give accolades to the realtor who's made the offer because I tag them. I don't tag them. I put them in it too, so they know I've sent it. So they're on
Text.
it. The
It's a
realtor's on
text
it.
with both of
Everyone's on it.
them. And you're just recording that on your phone, right? Just video on your phone, and
The
that's
best
awesome.
thing ever happened. Boop. That's it. And even if I'm in my workout clothes, I do it. It doesn't make a difference. I tell the selling agent, email me or give me a text with their number, the listing agent's number, and I'll send a text. And all of my agents know I do it, so that now it's just common for them to do it. It's also really important once you're training that you're also training the listing agent so that if they do business with you, what you're going to do and how you want them to interact with you, with their buyers they're going to give you in the future. So you're training them. So because I want my agents to send me an introductory email with the buyers. And that's how I connect with them. Like, so I'm training everyone how I like to do business. So the first thing is the video. The second thing is, oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited that our offer was accepted. I can't wait to do business with you. If you ever need anything, here's my VIP line. It's just my phone number. But I say it's a VIP line. They feel it's important and they love that. And these are all things that I've tweaked over the years. Then every week they get an update. It goes to the listing agent, the selling agent of what's going on with the file, where it's moved. They also get videos from me while the milestones get moved through our CRM. So they're getting multiple things through us. And then I am at closing with them. And by then, I hopefully have gotten a deal from the listing agent. And I might tell them while we're talking and while I'm interacting with them, I call them sporadically at the appraisal. Hi, the appraisal came in at value. Oh, and I've loved doing business with you. If there's anyone I can help, please don't hesitate to give them a telephone call. I love helping people, especially working with you again would be so exciting for me. Oh, they want to do business with me. She wants to do business with me. That's awesome. So, I just try to boost their confidence and I try to feed onto their ego, and that in turn gets the business. And I would say that this year I've gotten with this technique over a dozen listing agents to start using me. I mean, it's just you have and it's from start to finish, and you have to have a system and process so that you're doing it all the time the same way every single time. I don't have to have the same clothes on. I don't need to look the same. I can have my hair in a ponytail. It can be on a Saturday. They know it's a Saturday. Here's the thing. They want to know you as a person, and they know if you're at a soccer field with your kids that you're going to be at a soccer field with your kids, and they're okay with that. They want to hear the message.
Well, I love that you said that your confidence instills confidence. I feel like that's where a lot of loan officers are struggling right now. And I think because you have a process and a system, and because you execute it time and time again, that gives you confidence. What other advice would you give to LOs who struggle with this whole listing agent thing? Because we've all known for years this is a super easy button, but they just don't do it.
I heard one of the loan officers that work in my office on the telephone, and they were asked a question from a listing agent, and they said, I don't know what you're going to tell the seller in this situation. Well, I would never say, I don't know. I would come up with, in my opinion, we're going to be able to get this to settlement and we're not going to have a problem with the appraisal. The way, and I just made that up. I don't remember what the situation was. Just remember, you can only speak for yourself. You can't speak for them. So don't give them information that they don't need to know. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, you need to instill confidence. And if you're confident in what you're saying, you can't think for other people. So don't think for other people. You can only think for yourself. And I feel that loan officers fall into that they want to help more than they need to. I only help with what I know. I can't help in what the price is going to be. I can't help with, if there's going to, if you can finish the basement. I don't care about that stuff. I just care about what my job is. So I don't talk about anything else except for my job, and I'm confident in my job. And then I instill confidence. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I think it is.
It does. So what I want to do, guys, because I really want to unpack this one, and I'm going to share a few ideas from other interviews that I've done, like very recently. In fact, interviews that I've done in preparation for the halftime report, and in clips and strategies. And one, my guess is some of these Sue's doing. She just hasn't mentioned it yet, or she's got her own spin on it. I hope I can actually give her an idea for being here. So let me unpack these. So one of them, and I've played this video before on this group before, but it's how Daniel saw, who, by the way, did over 470 loans last year, leads a region of loan officers that have become the #1 market leader in Columbus, Ohio. And this is his value prop to realtors. And I'm going to show like one, a script, two, a strategy, and then we'll get Sue's feedback on it, because this is his value prop for realtors.
The #1 value proposition to a consumer is that you help them get a house. So what is the #1 value proposition for a realtor to a consumer? Same thing. They help get a house. And so to us, right, when it comes to the value proposition to the realtor, how do we support realtors in helping a client get a house? And we do it by doing two things really well. #1, we need to get people excited about buying a home. Mortgage rates are high, home values are high. So how do you convey the opportunity as to building equity? What does it mean to be a homeowner? How does that get people excited, right? And so you got to have a process to get people excited about buying a home. And then you have to have a process on how you coach your buyers on different ways to win against multiple offer scenarios. So my value proposition to realtors right now is when they send a client over, we're going to get them super excited about buying a home, and we're going to coach them on what it takes to win.
So, and there's really three parts to what I want to bring to you guys. But before I bring in #2 and #3, Sue, what are your thoughts, one, on that positioning, that scripting, and any nuance in how, like, I know you do a lot of that because I know how much you use MortgageCoach, but
Right.
just share your take on that. And if there is a different way in which you say that, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so I tell people that they need to talk to me way before they're buying a house. Way before they start to look at houses, they need to be talking to me. And I just had a situation where I'm in a market that's a high market. We're still in multiple offers. So these people wanted to put an offer in the other night, and it's 8:30 and they didn't have an approval letter. And we can get it, but they're not going to get the service and get the excitement that they would with most people. So I felt that they were even losing out a little bit because they got it with me at the 11th hour. They ended up not getting the house. So then we had to backtrack. So before the listing, you go talk to the listing agent, you have to say that these people are super happy, and you need to get them excited because might be putting multiple offers in. You need to tell them that stuff up front. You need to instill confidence that I'm going to work with you with these specific strategies so that you are going to get this house. So even though you're telling the listing agent when there's an offer, you have to convey the same things to the buyer, because you might be working with them for a year and then you want them to stick with you for the year. That's why I use MortgageCoach. That's why I love using MortgageCoach. We can tweak things super easy in MortgageCoach, and they also get the video. We embed the video in the MortgageCoach so that they have a full level experience. They are excited about it. They can say, oh, and you can do it live. I love that you can do it live. You can change things. You can interact with them. Having that transparent interaction with them is super important in getting them excited, but it builds the relationship and it builds the trust. So everything goes together, and that's why we instill confidence. I remember watching that video that you just put up. I thought what he said was amazing. And you need to convey energy, excitement, and that you are there for them every step of the way. Because when you're not there for them, they're going to pick up the telephone and they're going to go somewhere else. And that's what you don't want. And you want to make sure if they go buy a house with a different agent, that they're going to stick with you.
So I love that. So guys, so solid value prop. I love how Sue talked about, remember, she's a sun person. Your energy matters. Like that part of her code is I'm the sun and I'm gonna show up with energy and passion. And then she's a technician, like a couple of the most common strategies. 'Cause remember, to be able to say that to a realtor and then be able to actually do that are two different things. And so there's a lot of people that are in homes at 2%, 3%, 4%. And that's a problem for listing agents. So if you want to win with listing agents, you need to be able to like, hey, I don't just close loans. I I can help people that are in 2 and 3% mortgages get super excited about buying now, selling their home and listing. So this is actually a total cost analysis from Patty Newby, who I interviewed earlier this year. Jeremy Forcier talks about buy before you sell, being able to show like, hey, you want to be like, if you have someone that needs to be able to buy before they sell and you want to get the listing, like this is something that comes up. It's a problem that listing agents have. And if they can help solve that problem for a consumer, they're more likely to get the listing. By the way, Sue, are you part? I know at Success Mortgage, the company you work for, we've given you guys access to the alpha of our AI mortgage coach. Have you turned that on?
So my partner, Remy, runs all of my mortgage coaches and does everything. That's part of our process. So whatever Success has given us to turn on the AI, we completely use. So I think because I did not feel that was a high level skill for me, so which Dave knows. And so Remy works with me every single day to get every single mortgage coach out to every person that I'm talking to. So I think it's super important to know what your great skills are and what your great skills aren't. And if you need something, like I was a fan of Mortgage Coach from day one, I think it's super important. Now I do use Trust Engine myself, and so does Remy, but I think it's super important that you have a team to really make everyone be as high and prioritize things to the best of their ability, which Remy
And
does that for Mortgage
And
Coach.
and just for code guys, she's a rainmaker. Like she's the one, and when she said she uses Trust Engine, that means the data signals where we're saying, hey, this is someone that looks like they want to buy, sell, refi, or someone that's actually already started a refi with someone else or a purchase with someone else. You better call them. Just as a reminder, because it's such a badass feature, I just put a link to Mortgage Coach Total Cost Analysis with AI. And by the way, guys, just so you know what it looks like, because it will be coming out the 1st of July. Like literally, if you are already a mortgage coach, you will have this. And so if you go to Mortgage Coach now, there'll be a little AI button here. And what is mortgage insurance? When you start the conversation, if you're a consumer, the consumer could ask a question like, what is the best option if I'm going to live in the home for 5 years? By the way, they can type it or they can voice activate it. Uh, what is the equity on option 2 in 38 months? Whatever the customer thinketh, the customer can do. And then I want to tie this to winning with listing agents. Like the more you can solve that listing agent's problems, the better. And the more you can do that in a unique way that's intuitively obvious, like, oh my God. So going to a listing agent, doing everything that Sue said, and then, by the way, asking them, don't, before you just go, hey, I got to buy versus sell, or I've got a move up strategy. Even though these are common problems, ask them, hey, with listings, do you have a lot of people that want to buy before they sell? Do you have people that are in 2, 3, or 4% mortgages, and that's either costing you listings or it's a problem? Validate, are these problems you're having? What are your 3 biggest problems? And then let me show you how I can uniquely solve that. You know, so
I love that AI, Dave, because you could use that AI, because everyone always asks me, how do you come up with things for your social media? And I come up with things for my social media by what my buyers ask me or what my agents ask me. I immediately put it into social media. And by that interaction with AI, you can literally take a screenshot of that and then use that for your social media posts and for videos, because all of that reinstills the relationship. It just really instills it every single time for your agents when you're connected with them on social. I know Deborah is amazing with plug and play. But she will tell you 100%. It's that extra touches. It's the clarity, the focus, and execution. And we need to have all the irons in the fire right now if we want to win big. So you have to have multiple irons every single time and use, like, you don't reinvent the wheel. You're getting it in MortgageCoach now. Put a question in, have it answer it, and then throw it up there on social media.
yeah. And by the way, some questions just came in. So one, Paul, yes, the loan officer will see and get a transcript of that, so you'll know what's being asked. By the way, I'm learning here. This is the first time where I heard someone say, "Oh, that's good social media content." So, boom, thank you for that. By the way, just became one of the pilots, so I'm going to go ahead and play his script of how Jeremy is framing this in the sales process. But just know that that's another strategic opportunity to position this with a consumer in a really smart way. So here's how Jeremy's scripting will be as he rolls this out. By the way, this was in last week's interview with Jeremy. So if you want to watch the full interview, check it out. And
So Dave, it was awesome meeting with you. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a total cost analysis, which is going to be a video presentation of some of the things that we talked about in strategies, et cetera. There's going to be a video of me in the corner walking you through it. And you might have questions when you're watching it. Here's what's great is that you can interact with it and you can ask questions in a chat screen within it, and it will answer your questions. So you can ask things like, you know, hey, what's the best program on here for me if I'm going to live in the house for 10 years? You could ask it like, what's the lowest cost option? You could ask it, if I'm going to refinance in 12 months, like which option would be most cost effective to me? So you can ask it any of these questions that you want and get answers. And then I would love to go over and review that with you and make sure it's in alignment with what your long-term strategy is. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. Feel free to forward it to me, of course, as well, but use it when things pop in your head to see what it says. And then that way you can ask me better questions to create the best clarity for yourself. That's how I would structure it.
Dang, that's really good. That's really good. Hey, I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity, Dave, because I think it'll help the person who's watching it at 10 p.m. when you're asleep, and it'll answer questions for you. But I do love how Jeremy said, okay, then we're going to circle back and talk about it. And I love, Sue, your idea of using it for social. So Deborah, like, you're Miss Social Media, like give us your take on how someone should use it.
Well, I would use it as a green screen or do the exact thing that Sue just talked about, because that's evidence. And a lot of times I think we forget that when we're storytelling or when we're on social and we're just using our words and there's no visuals to help people comprehend or give credibility to what you're saying, that's why you would take the screenshot, is because it's evidence that you're not just making it up. Like, we've all heard those people who say, oh, I just had a client ask me yesterday, and we're like, really? Did that really just happen? Or everyone's asking me this today. People, they wonder because, you know, marketers have a reputation of maybe not always being 100% truthful because we're marketing, right? We're trying to create value sometimes. So show the evidence of the question that people are asking, and then share why you're sharing that question. And it could be because someone else just like them may have a similar question, and it could be 2 a.m. and they need that advice, and you're hopefully asleep at 2 a.m. So I always like for you to prove it, is kind of how I think of it, is evidence with your content that you are who you say you are and that you'll do what you say you'll do. So at least have one brand evidence a day that proves your advice makes a difference. how you're using technology to better fit the needs of the clients. What I first thought of is it gives validity to your advice, because the consumer could be thinking, well, you're probably just telling me to pick the loan that makes you the most money. But if I ask this AI third party, like non-biased, doesn't get a commission, what my best strategy is, it's going to give you real honest advice, and it removes that salesman, mentality or that fear of, should I really trust this person?
Yes, and in addition to that, when you get the no from a listing agent, you say, and I'd love to do business with you, and he says something like, well, I have an amazing loan officer already. Your reply to that and your script to that is, that's great. I would love to send you my Mortgage Coach AI tool so that you can see how you can interact with your buyers when your originator might not be available. That's amazing. And if he's doing that he or she's doing that, that's fantastic. But if they're not, maybe you want to use you want to try me out. It's when you get the no.
So by the way, guys, script alert. That was a great script. And Paul, let's actually turn that little 30-second clip into a clip on what to say. I can't remember what the starting was. We don't need to re-say it. But by the way, if you want to get a link to that clip, I'm pushing all that content, the highlights, the clips, whatever I think is the best, through the Savage Insiders Mobile Club. If you are not a member of the Savage Insiders Mobile Club, we'll put what the number is. All you got to do is text that link. You'll be in there, and we'll see how fast Paul and I can turn that script around so that you want to get that script. By the way, it's a really good script. We'll pull that. We'll get that out to you
Now
guys.
you've officially made it, Sue. Like, that's when you've arrived. Now you have a clip being made.
Yeah. You've been on the show. You got a clip. Okay,
just
let's
checking all the
do
boxes
this.
off.
Okay. We're in the fourth quarter, and we got to put a little love into these last two strategies. So
Right.
number 2, you're asking for referrals of current agents. So people that know you, like you, and trust you. What are you saying?
Hi, Lisa. I know that we've had great experience for the last couple of years together. Would you have a friend in your real estate office who might not be having the best experience with their originator? Could you maybe connect us via text with a warm introduction? I would love to help more people in your office, because it's super important for me to help as many people as I can get into houses and have a great experience.
Love that. Well, hey, we have 2 of the absolute best script doctors on planet Earth on today's call. One of them is, I can't remember if it was the hat or the shirt, says exactly. So I'll first, like, Deborah, let's go with you first and break that down. Like, what was great about it? What make it teachable. And if there's something that you might put the exactly what to say framework around, what would it be?
Well, it wasn't too broad of an ask. Like, it wasn't the typical, like, who do you know that's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, which is like too wide of a net for people to, like, think of one person. So I love that she said a friend of yours in your office who could be struggling with their lender partner. That makes it a lot easier for my brain to sort through everybody that I could know of, okay, who is someone that I like or that is like me who could be having that struggle. And then she made it very clear of putting it on a warm text intro to each other. So my teaching or my coaching feedback would be that that's good job on not making it too broad.
Yeah, I love
Cool.
that.
Todd, anything? Oh,
Well,
sorry.
I'm gonna do a commercial. So sorry, I Sue and Deborah crushed it. I don't think I need to do anything else. But Deborah and I, in the first week of July, are running our first ever virtual critical conversations for loan officers. Phil Jones specifically reached out to us and said, "Hey, I think that the loan officer community really needs this," and he kind of coached us through how we could do it online. He gave us permission to use the workbook that Dave you got when you sat through the full 2-day certification. It's the first time he's letting us use the workbook outside of a certification. It's only $249, so it's not like you're spending $2,000 to hang with us, and it's going to be kind of cool. We're doing it on a Monday morning and on a Wednesday morning. It's going to be the same both days. So if you can't, you're like, oh, I can't sign up because I can't come Monday. Well, guess what? You can come on Wednesday. You can come on both. And it's going to be a great opportunity for you to figure out what is you're missing. We'll briefly go through the 4 cornerstones that are critical for effective conversations, and then we'll do a lot of role play. It's really going to be a role play day where we role play not just what you're going to do with your clients, but then more importantly, we're going to spend a lot of time role playing on what you're going to do with real estate agents. So we're super stoked for it. It's a great way for you to get on there. It's going to be meeting style, so you're going to all be on camera. We're going to be having a blast as a group. And I forgot what the limit is. It's however many people can come onto a meeting on my Zoom channel. So definitely just go to toddbookspan.me, which is my link tree. I believe it's at the top there, and you can sign up for it while we still have room.
All right. So Todd will put a link, or Deborah will put a link to where you can get more on that in a minute. So we're literally going to the fourth quarter. I do want to put a little coaching note. I want you right now to write down on a piece of paper, and I would love for people to share this. How many realtors fit that bucket for you? And I'm not looking for you to have an exact number, but are we talking, are there 5 realtors that you could call with that script, or there 10, or there 20, or there 50? Put in the number right now in chat, but absolutely do yourself a favor, write it down. Like, what is the number of calls? So we got 10 to 15. Keep it coming, guys. How many do you have? And then my ask for everyone on this call, schedule a jam session and do this by Monday. If you like don't get this done, either some of you could get this done by the end of the day. Like you got 3, you got 5. Like, what else is more important?
I feel like you should always be working towards, towards 12. I always feel like you need to get to your apostles. If you're at 3 or 5, you need to work towards 12. And then when you get to that 12, work to the 24. But that's how you get there, is by making those telephone calls.
By the way, guys, there was another little micro nugget of, you've got to have 12. I love how you biblically put that to, there's 12. And everybody needs to have 12 people that you could authentically do that script with. And then you go for the 24. So it looks like, so by the way, just another little nugget. So let's close out with 1 to many. You said your exact words were, you have to do events, and you're doing, and I heard Realtor Lunch and Learns. Give us an overview of what you're doing, 1 to many, and a couple action items.
Yeah, so you need to publish when you're having the lunch and learns, have it in a place that's local to everyone, where they feel comfortable, where you're going to feel like VIPs. I have it in a restaurant that I'm very comfortable in. There's a limited menu for lunch. There you can pick 3 things. There's Caesar salad with salmon, but that's not even important. But you want something so that they come. But you need to have value. So we do how to get and I use MortgageCoach for all of them. How to get listings, how to be present on social media, how do you get buyers, how do you keep buyers, everything and I say to the appraisals, I say to the realtors at the end of it, what topic do you want for the next lunch and learn? Because if I ask them, and we have it being a mastermind, so the first hour I'm giving them the presentation for the most part. The second hour is all masterminding. It's having lunch, it's talking, it's the relationship building. I have people from Century 21 or Keller Williams and Remax and Every Home. They're all talking, and they're all seeing what's going on in their areas. And I like that it's a lot of different people who don't maybe know each other. So I had a lunch and learn about how to get over the objections. And we had 14 people there. 4 people were agents that I never met in my life. I mean, I knew of them, but I had never met them. They had never come to a lunch and learn. I've had lunch and learns for 2 years. 2 of the 4 gave me a deal as they walked out the door. They have closed already. And now they're going to be part of my 12 apostles that I'm cultivating right now. So I do everything in dozens. So I'm cultivating them while I'm still keeping all the other ones. So we always, every quarter, we have a dozen that we're getting to the next step. We've either gotten them from the events, we've either gotten them from the lunch and learns, webinars, or just by listing agents. It's a compilation of all the different to come up with 12 we connect with them through social media. You have to have all the irons in the fire so that you talk to them 11 times on 4 different platforms for 7 hours. I mean, that's the key.
And I want to make sure everybody got the note. She's using Mortgage Coach, but I want to make sure it's really clear for folks. It's not about the technology. It's about the problems that you solve for them and about the stories around how you solve the problems. And you're using the Mortgage Coach total cost analysis as a storytelling vehicle. And
Absolutely.
that's
And once they come to any of our events, they go on and we get notified when they have a listing. And then we send a mortgage coach to them for their open house that's co-branded.
boom.
So mortgage coach, co-branded in their open house, they automatically get it. So we're instilling our value every single time. We're giving them more value. You get business by giving value and developing relationships.
And that's, by the way, that's how you rocket proof your career. That is how you future proof your career. If you win your database, you win locally. And by the way, Sue, there's so much more. I mean, you were amazing. Thank you so much. I also want to remind folks, like, first of all, you've got to be a mortgage coach going forward in the business. I mean, now that it is an AI enabled educational experience, some of you guys, you have your fee worksheets, you know, your Excel things that you've created. Like there's no better way to help consumers make confident decisions and create conversion and value for agents than that. Also, I put a link to get a free 10-day free trial of Modern Mortgage IQ. If you are not in that community, big shout out and thank you to Hoosie. They put AI on the top of that. So not only do you have every piece of content we ever did with the Modern Mortgage Summit, which Sue has always attended, but there's a lot of these interviews that are part of that data set. And I mean, anything could be around mindset, could be around leadership, could be around marketing, could be around selling, could be around anything. You put it in the AI guide and it'll help you. So make sure you check that out. Todd, do a win by noon close. Deborah Bird, you give closing thoughts, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Well, let me have Deborah give her brand asset score really quick. That's fascinating.
Yeah,
So
go,
I put in,
Deborah.
I put in here how many people who have spent 7 hours with you, 11 different interactions in 4 different locations, which is the 7-11-4 formula that Google came out with, could answer this about you. So number 1, who you are, what you do, what problem you solve, and who you solve it for. So that is the brand asset score, where the more people who could answer those things about you equals more connections, more opportunities.
Wow, that's like it sounds like we need to
We're
do a
like
whole
on the
call on
same
that,
page.
Deborah.
I knew when you said that, I was like, oh, she knows the 7-11-4.
Well, I've never
All
heard
right,
of
guys.
that.
Well, now
So
you know the 7-11-4. That was
that was
radical. Thank you
amazing.
for
That
that.
was amazing. So, Sue, this was a great hour. All of you who've invested your time, you definitely got your money's worth. And I think that there's a few key points that you got to remember. She started off saying that she blocks out the noise, she focuses on the present so that she can really crush it in the future. So I think that's super critical. Probably the top thing that she said is, I'm confident, so I will instill confidence. The biggest way that we win is by being confident, and confidence comes from having a process and a system, and then also knowing exactly what to say and practicing that. She also said that she does things in dozens. So I love that one. I'm like, all right, I'm going to steal that one and figure that out, because again, she's got a standard and she's got a focus to get there, right? Think about that. When you have a number that you're shooting for, guess what? It pulls you there and you get there. And then lastly, she said she gets business by adding value and developing relationships. I mean, all of those are gold. And I think that Dave already said you've got to schedule a jam session, right? You have to block some time here to take what you learned and figure out how to take action. So of all the things that Sue said, right, pick the one that you feel like you can execute the fastest, that's going to give you the most run. And I think the easiest one is to block out the noise, right? You're all going to social media a lot, paying attention to, what's going on, and, who's having battles over social media about, rocket ships and cars and other things. Focus on you. That's all that matters. Focus on your business, your clients, your relationships, and you're going to win. But really, any of those things, figure out where you can do the best. She gave us 3 pieces of gold that she's using to crush business in this year. And the bottom line is, we're close to halftime, and we're super excited because we want your success in the second half of the year to be greater than your success in the first half. As always, thanks for joining us here on a Friday.
All right. All right. So here's my closing thought, guys. Before you go to your next meeting, write down how many realtors know you, like you, trust you, and have referred business to you in the past 3 to 4 months. And if it's not 12, that's your North Star. You got to get it to 12. If it's 12, 24 is your next one. Implement the script that Sue shared. Implement a mortgage coach story or strategy. Remember, guys, on Mondays, we'll help you create your first total cost analysis. 9 o'clock on Mondays, Spencer, our head coach, will get you started. Every Tuesday, I'm interviewing someone amazing, top producer, and unpacking just pure gold. Every Wednesday and Thursday, it's open door. You got Coach Spencer, our head coach, to teach you, train you, motivate you, inspire you. Guys, we hope you got value from today. Sue, I can't wait for the next conversation. You completely crushed it.
Thanks for
And we are a
having me.
minute over. So take
You
care,
guys are
everybody. Have a great
amazing.
weekend. Take care. Cheers.